BMRforum.com and BMRodds.com, boys. What is going on? Welcome back to episode number 126 of this great program, The Lobby Show. As always, Mr. Sam's in charge. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, Bobby? Here at work today. Got a little echo going. It's always nice in the office. Hopefully I don't get interrupted. But what do I see? Is that a new hairdo, Bobby? What do you got? A little comb over there?
It is a new hairdo. Just got back from the barber. Got the face cleaned up. Got a new hairstyle. So,
we've probably talked about this before. What do you pay for that?
You know what? We have not talked about it before. This was $35, and I gave him a $10 tip, so it's $45.
There you go. I go with the MVP. I go to Sports Clips.
Okay.
I'm in the chair for about 15 minutes. It's 26 or 28 bucks. It's funny because they always ask me for the MVP, which means they take you out back.
Towel and shit. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, they give you the hot towel and rub your hair.
Face.
And I always say this. I always go and get my haircut after work so that I can just go home and shower. And I always tell them this. If I don't get the MVP, it's more money in your pocket as a tip. If you want to do the MVP, it's less money for you. And they're always like, okay, no MVP. And I'm like, thank you. You want more money. Get me in, get me out.
I've been going to the same guy for a couple months. He does a good job. Yeah, he's a little bit expensive, but it was $35. I mean, how much do you tip, Sam? It was $35. You told me $35 before. I gave him $45. I think 10 is.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same. I think mine's like 25 to 30, and I leave 35 to 40. So yeah, that's about right.
Yep. And over to the man who doesn't have to go for a haircut for a very long time, Mr. Reload. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, well, I go more often than you think.
Really?
At least, in the winter, it doesn't grow quite as much, so that's good.
And last but not least, Donnie right side. What's up, Donnie?
Another Thursday for the boys here. The month of November already. Like, we're only going to be talking about Thanksgiving and then on the Christmas. And then, hey, guys, what are you doing for March Madness, man? It's amazing how quick this goes, isn't it?
You know what? We say it every single year.
Yeah, we do.
I do. It's amazing how quickly the years fly by. And I think it gets worse as you get older, from what I'm told, anyway. I think time just flies.
Well, I think that's because people too much, they take too much a big picture. When you really break it down each day, it's really not a lot of time. But when you categorize it, and again, NFL is the worst because it's week 9, week 10, week 11. It's almost like a countdown to the end of the season, whereas other sports don't do that. So because we categorize it, it makes it seem a lot faster than it really is.
Exactly. But speaking of breaking down, Sammy, let me get your World Series breakdown. Congratulations to the Dodgers.
Yeah, it was a great series. Even on the East Coast, it was great that Game 7 was Saturday night. I had some of my buddies over. We played some games on TV2. TV1 had the game. And then one of my friends left and the other one stayed. We were up till 12:30, 12:45. Captivating game. It was everything that you could hope for as just a sports fan. Now, in reference to Game 7, I did have the under 7.5, which not only lost in the top of the ninth, but it was one of my high school boys, Jeff Hoffman. It was one of my guys that I know. I know his family. I sold his grandma a car, and you better believe, Grandma, I'm going to be charging you double next time because he cost me money in the top of the ninth with that over-under. But it was a great game. I was happy that Yamamoto won MVP. He was definitely rightfully deserved. What a performance. Back-to-back wins, Game 6 and Game 7 after pitching almost 100 pitches. But it was fantastic, for a casual fan. The ratings were through the roof, and congrats to the Dodgers, back-to-back titles.
Exactly. Reload, over to you. What do you think of the World Series?
Oh, great series. Yeah, we really needed something like that, after what we've gone through with some of everything with Major League Baseball, with the regular season and all the extra inning rules, the silly ghost runners and all that. Like, it was nice to see a hard-fought finish there. And kudos to the Dodgers. They built the team. They used the whole roster to win the game. That's how a lot of the big dynasties, that's how they've been over the years. That's what you do. You build a team to win the big game, and that's what they do. They used everybody they had. I myself actually fell asleep as the extra innings were starting, so I did not see it live. But, boy, really something to wake up to that that they pulled it out. And, hey, look forward to next year from here.
Exactly. And last but not least, Mr. Dunny right side, how was the World Series for you?
Loved it. I thought it was fantastic. And yes, the little engine that could, the team that nobody ever would thought would win the World Series ended up winning it, which was the Los Angeles Dodgers. And they'll probably celebrate by signing the top 3 free agents on the market next year and do it again. But when you're looking at a single series, you had everything that you wanted. A team in the American League that stayed hot here, carrying an entire nation on their shoulders here. The unmovable object there, the Los Angeles Dodgers. We wound up in a Game 7, and it wasn't even one of those, how many times we get to a Game 7, it's a little bit anticlimactic. 6-1 win, 5-1 win, congratulations. I couldn't wait for that Game 7 on Saturday night, and it was one of the most entertaining experiences you could have in a championship game that had so many high-leverage plays late in that game. It was phenomenal theater, no question. It got big-time ratings. What a celebration to end baseball season with a game that if you watched it, you're going to remember that game. There's so many games in the past in the World Series like, hey, do you remember this hit or that hit? You will remember where you were, that Dodgers and Toronto series, if you watch game number 7.
Exactly. And Sammy, wrong button. Sammy, who is kind of celebrating, though, a lot of these third world countries, because the Blue Jays are the opposing team, in this case, it's the Blue Jays. But the opposing team, their stuff gets sent over to third world countries, the losing World Series team. And I'm sure it happens in other sports too.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite memes. Not to be racist or anything, but the black African kids that are all dancing. That goes, yeah, we're getting new merchandise, and it just shows like the new team merchandise that lost, and it shows their like
Chiefs
championship series shirts and jackets and stuff like that. It's one of my favorite memes, and it pops up right every few months when a team loses in the championship, and then they pop up with that meme. So it's a classic meme.
Yes, I saw it the other day. That's why I brought that up. I didn't want to
it's solid
to it. But Donnie, let me jump over to you. Let's talk some NBA, buddy. What do you got today?
Yeah, NBA. One game on the card tonight. Way to go, NBA, on really scheduling it out with not much to do other than the NFL game tonight, and also putting a game on with the Phoenix Suns. We were playing the Clippers. Like, okay, at least I get to watch Kawhi Leonard and James Harden. No, you don't. Both of those guys are going to be out tonight. So the NBA on full display. One game here, superstars sitting it out. And it is easy to say you're going to take the Phoenix Suns because the starters are out. I don't know about that. I actually went to Vika Zubac here over 17.5 points for the Clippers because somebody has to score if James Harden and Kawhi are out. But this is just a microcosm of the NBA of what we get pissed at as fans in the regular season. You give us one game and James Harden's taking a personal night off? You got to be kidding me.
It is a little bit ridiculous, especially from a fan standpoint.
Yeah.
Reload, what do you got tonight in one lone game?
Yeah, my lean is to the Suns minus the points here. It's not so much. It's more about the situation of the game. The Suns have been cashing pretty strong at home. Clippers have been struggling, lost 2 straight at home, and now it's their 3rd game in 4 days. So it's also the first end of a home and home. Usually where that goes, you hope the home team comes through, and then the rematch comes a few days later. So lean is to the Suns. I also looked at Friday's card. The odds are out a little early, considering there's really nothing tonight. I'm looking at Friday, the Washington Wizards plus 11.5 at home to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Kind of a sandwich game for Cleveland there. And the front end of a back-to-back, they got to go home and face Chicago the next night. So I think they might kind of underestimate that one a little with the Wizards, kind of look past it. Maybe try to get a lead and the Wizards get the backdoor cover. One of those kind of games. And also we got the Spurs and Rockets tomorrow night. Good game there. And Spurs are a home dog at +2. I like them in that spot.
All righty. Thank you. And Sammy, the lone NBA game tonight. You like anything?
Nah, nothing tonight. This is more of just a vent session about the current culture of sports and TV. I mean, obviously the YouTube TV debacle with ESPN.
Yes,
but NBA, they fucked up, right? Thursday used to be NBA on TNT. You would be guaranteed viewers from 7 to 8:30 during that first half. Then maybe they switch to NFL. Then they get them back for the late game. Now there's one game and it's not even on national television, which means that if you're not in the market, you're not watching the game. So, just more frustration as far as just the casual fan trying to watch a game when you can't even watch the game. I mean, everyone, again, we can all rant about this. We all got millions of streaming services and can't even watch basic games. So it's really frustrating. And tonight is another highlight to why NBA is not getting good ratings, because one game on a Thursday, you can't watch it unless you have the NBA package and it's not on national TV. So just a horrible job of marketing. They have billions of dollars in the NBA, and they don't even know how to get their games to the viewers.
Yeah, they used to be great. TNT doubleheader. You have two
Doubleheader.
games. It used to be wonderful, and it's
Yep.
it's not like that
Yeah, and
anymore.
like I said, you could rely on a 7 and a 9:30 game, and you like again for me, I know first half, boom, go to NFL, first half, boom, end of the first game, boom, start the second game. Like degenerates know how to maximize their time to watch the game and on to the next game. So the fact that I could say this by heart without games going just knows that I've had this cycle for years and years and years.
Yeah, and these days, with all the streaming stuff, you can watch two of them at once and everything.
Yeah.
Now. I mean, what do they
Easily.
What do they think? They think they're only going to watch one at a time, and then the other one's not going to get ratings. They're both going to get ratings. They're both going to get viewers. Why not?
And here's the other thing, Reload. So YouTube TV, I could watch it on 5 different devices. Now I have to get this ESPN Unlimited bullshit, which I bought, but I really don't want to keep because I'm trying to do the holdout. I can only watch it on one device. So I can only watch ESPN Unlimited on one device. If I go to another TV, it kicks me out of one and signs me on the other one. Bullshit. You're telling me I got to pay for 2 ESPN services and only can watch it on one device? What the hell? Wake up.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. And I made a comment. I think, Sammy, you posted in that thread. It's just ridiculous how many different apps and different streaming services, Netflix, I mean, I can go on for
when JJ Watt that makes $150 million is complaining about the price of things, you have an issue. It's not for JJ Watt, it's a principle. He can afford whatever he wants. It's the principle. That's why JJ Watt is a popular player, because he's not pretentious. He has money, but he thinks like a commoner. He thinks like a middle class citizen, which is why he's popular, because he's a great player, he's a great athlete, but also he's not pretentious in the fact that he has millions of dollars. He's pissed off about paying the $30. So what does the casual fan think as well?
It's going to be the same exact way. But Donnie, let's talk another week, another scandal, this time in the UFC.
Yeah, how about that? And again, every sport does get infiltrated on this, and it's usually the guys that don't make any money. Like if you're on the undercard in the UFC and maybe you only fight 2 or 3 times for your career, and somebody approaches you on the street, hey, by the way, get knocked out in the first round. They're going to pay you $10,000. I'll give you $50,000 for that. Yeah, why not go ahead and do that? But this is why also like legalized gambling and more eyes on gambling helps us to uncover some of these issues that are having. But if we're like, hey, I can't believe this is happening. This has been going on since we've had gambling / pro sports across the earth for 100, 200 years at this point right now. If somebody's going to get offered money, then they're going to throw fights, and it's going to happen. You just got to catch it and try to eradicate it here. I'm not surprised by it at all. So people are like, oh, I can't believe this is happening. What? You kidding me? It happens all the time. We just don't catch it.
Exactly. Reload, your thoughts on this UFC betting scandal.
Yeah, it was interesting. I started to hear about it that day, and it played out as people thought it would. And the thing with the UFC, I agree with Donnie, like the undercard fighters really aren't getting much at all. Like they don't get the big sponsorships. They're not getting paid a lot for the fights. Even the fight bonuses aren't very much. And I think the thing with this case about how it got detected, it was just all this money came in on one side and even came in on one side to finish the first round. And that really made it stand out a little too much. I think some of these guys, if you are going to try to fix a fight, you might want to camouflage the betting a little bit better than that. And I do think it goes on. These UFC fights, they're only these undercard fights, they're mostly all 3 rounds. Only the main events are like 5 rounds. And a 3-round fight between two people is pretty easy to fix, and you can make it look good. You can always make a loss look good. Right. So I don't think it's going to be a stoppage to any of this. I think it's going to still be able to happen. I don't think there's really as much they can do about it as they think.
Sammy, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, and then the other problem is that once you say yes once, you can't say no a future time, because once you're in, you're in. So you can't say, all right, well, we made some money. I'm good with my money. Like, no, you said yes once, you're in for life. So that's probably what some of the people are dealing with. Like, hey, I was in a tough spot. Let me get a little bonus. All right, now I'm kind of good. I want to be clean. Well, the mafia or whoever's behind the scenes is going, fuck you. You already said yes once. You're now in. So now you're in for life. And then as far as UFC and boxing, there's always controversy. They need to get more than 3 judges. They really need to go to 7 or 9. 3 judges clearly is not the right way to go. There's too many controversies. Or you can have the judges that are the guys that are fixing the fight. How many times does a fight happen? They're like, how did one judge go 29-28? The other judge went 30-27 to the other guy. So 2 guys just saw 2 different fights. You need to have more judges because the judges are just as corrupt as the fighters.
Exactly. But you know what's not corrupt, and that's the BMR Poker Tournament, Sammy. Poker Tournament number 11 is coming this Friday. So tomorrow night, still a few more opportunities, guys, to get your hands on a Tournament of Champions entry ticket. But Sammy, let me stay with you for a minute. Let's talk some tennis.
Yeah, tennis right now, we're in the year-end finals. The women are down to the semifinals. So, and you got a hard-hitting matchup. You got, the big 4 names. You got Arina Sabalenka, world number 1, going off Amanda Anisimova. It's going to be a battle. I feel sorry for the ball. These are the 2 hardest-hitting women on tour. The ball is just going to be crushed. And then on the second matchup, you got Rybakina versus Jessie Pegula. So you got 2 Americans in there. You got the world number 1. The men's are going to start next week on Monday. So year-end finals right now this week, I'm 10-6. I'm plus 257 for the week with the year-end finals, and I'm plus 6 units on the year. So again, should be ending up with a positive season for 3 straight years, all documented. And this year, I'm like over 1,200 picks. So I got probably 4,000 documented tennis picks, and I'm up over 100 units over 3 years. So definitely a good trend to follow.
Awesome. We'll keep that up, Sammy. Reload. How was week number 9 for you in the NFL?
Oh, NFL. Well, it was a little mixed for me, but the losses came with the Bengals in that wild game with the Bears.
Yeah.
Don't even get started on that one. The Giants had no chance, of course, and the Texans got beat at the end by the Broncos. So those were my losers. Did have some good wins, though. The Steelers won outright against the Colts, and I had the Chiefs Bills under. The under gods showed up in the second half for that one. So squeak that one out.
All righty. Donnie, over to you. Week number 9 in the NFL, buddy, for you. How was it?
You got beat up on sides here last week in the poll, too. So we'll go over that a little bit later in the show. But that wasn't great. And that was a game under 500. I should have said a play under 500 on some prop bets. Things didn't work to my advantage. And I actually expected Patrick Mahomes to have a pretty decent night on Sunday Night Football. That didn't actually happen. So that turned it in from a winning day to a non-profitable day for me at that point. But it is what it is in the NFL. It's a week-to-week league as we go. And also keep in mind, as we head into the months of November, you won't really see it tonight in Thursday Night Football, the weather conditions, but they're changing now. There's a couple games on Sunday. We're going to be in the 30s and Monday Night Football in the 20s here. So changing of the seasons here. We'll see if they can keep the scoring up.
Sammy, week number 9 in the NFL. How was it?
2 weeks ago, I was in first place in the contest. And then since then, I went 2-5. And last week, 1-6. I'm on a roll. So it was pretty bad. Not only did I go 1-6, but my one win was my 2-pointer. So obviously, I only gained 2 points there. So I am now in 28th place overall. But still, we got another half of the season. All I need is a couple 20-pointers in there to work my way back up. But now I'm fighting from the back. But last week, shout out to the top 5. 3 guys tied at 22 points, STR 945, Bacardi Artie, and Big Shooter, all with 22 points. Second place was Mike 1234 with 24. And the winner last week, Baby Bobbies, with 27 points. And then the overall leaderboard sitting at 5th place, Bacardi Artie with 150. You got Miami Vice in 4th place with 151. JR Grum, 153 in 3rd place. Try, sitting there again in the top 5 leaderboard. He's been there for about a month, 160. And then Polo GQ, leaderboard again, 1st place with 161. So shout out to the top 5. Congratulations. Again, we're halfway through. No weekly prizes, so you got to be there. Consistency all season long. I'm on my way down, so time to get it back up.
Well, Sammy, good luck in this week number 10. Speaking of week 10 reload, you're 7. What do you got?
Yeah, well, I've got a few plays figured out for NFL. So tonight we'll start with this Broncos-Raiders game. Interesting spot here. The Raiders played an overtime game over the weekend.
Against Jacksonville, yep.
Short week. Have to go to Denver. There's a lot of people were thinking, well, what chance do they possibly have in that scenario? I think the trends are something like the the team with the short week, in that case, off an overtime, only cashes like a third of the time or 40% of the time. But yet the money seems to be on the Raiders. The spread's been going down. So I can't really bring myself to take either side. I think I don't want to lay points with Denver either. So I'm going to go with the over 43, a rare over for me on the show. I think between the overtime loss going to Denver, and then Denver had a pretty tough game themselves in Houston. I think they're going to both be kind of gassed by the end of this, and maybe we'll see some late scoring to push it over. The over is 2-0 the last two home games for the Broncos. The scoring just seems to keep happening late. So, again, over 43 is the play tonight. I've also got some more picks for the weekend. Dolphins plus 9.5 hosting the Bills, a rematch from the Thursday night game they had earlier in the season.
Right.
The Bills got past KC, and I think they may take this one a little lighter than that game. Maybe, a letdown spot, if you will, here. The Dolphins are also 2-1 against the spread in their last three home games. And I'm also going to take the Houston Texans again plus 1.5. I took them last week minus 1.5 against Denver, lost that in the fourth quarter, but they're plus 1.5 against the Jaguars. And I think the Jaguars, off that win with the Raiders, they're facing a tougher team now on the road, and yet the Texans are underdogs by 1.5. So I think that's a nice value play there. So the Jaguars are 1-2 against the spread on the road. Again, shouldn't have been a road favorite last week, and they shouldn't be this week. So Texans plus 1.5. And finally, the Rams 49ers. I'm taking the under 49.5. Another Thursday night rematch here. The Thursday night game earlier this season went over, but that was in LA. Shifting it here to San Fran. Home games here have gone 2-1 for the under. The only one that went over was by a couple of points. So I'm liking the under in the rematch here, under 49.5 between those two.
All righty, Reload. Thank you. Donnie, over to you. You're 7. What do you got on tap?
Super 7, baby. Let's go with the Jets, getting 2.5 points. What, are you crazy at this point? Yeah, look at all the players. I'm telling you right now, the Browns have one of the worst offenses in football. It's going to be rainy, a super sloppy game here. Breece Hall back, still with the Jets. He didn't get traded. Garrett Wilson looking to make a reappearance here. You get A.D. Mitchell. I'm telling you, the Jets are going to keep this one close for the fan base that is screaming, crying, and all the kids out there that have their Sauce Gardner jerseys taken. I think they might have a legitimate chance to pull it out. I'm taking the 2.5 points, going with a public fade. I'm with Reload. I'm going to take the Texans also plus 1.5 at home against the Jaguars. Look, C.J. Stroud hasn't been great this year, but Davis Mills has been around the block. Wasn't called on last week as the starter, but came in reserve. I think there's a chance they hang around and actually beat it. That defense is really good for the Texans. I'll go against the grain. Also, how about this road game? The Saints, they traded probably their best one overall wide receiver, least deep threat in Shaheed. I'm taking them, getting 5.5 points. The Panthers playing almost a touchdown. Get out of here. Divisional game. That game will be close. Panthers might win, but I'm going to take the 5.5 points. Then we're going to go with another division game in the Pacific Northwest. I'm taking the Cardinals, getting 6.5 points over the Seahawks. Kyler Murray, he was supposed to come back this week. Brissett's been playing so good, they told the dude to get on IR for another 4 weeks. I'm going to take the Cardinals at around a touchdown price here, getting the points in a division rivalry. I think the Lions bounce back against the Commanders. The Commanders absolutely feel like they are dead and buried at this point. I'll lay that there. And then also the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday Night Football. That offensive line is atrocious for the Chargers and injured. I'll take the Steelers with 2.5. And then, of course, taking my Birds Monday Night Football with 2.5 as well. That's the 7 for the week, boys.
All righty, thank you. I was going to go over to Sammy. He looks like he's busy right now.
Selling cars.
Reload, let me jump over to you. Let's talk some college football. Week 11, how was it for you, and what do you got this upcoming weekend?
Well, college football, mixed bag for me last week. I had lost with Kansas State, lost with Tennessee. That game was brutal with Oklahoma. Also lost with Virginia Tech with a ridiculous second half, was in great shape at halftime, and they didn't score anything in the second half. Gave up the front door touchdown at the end. I mean, just washed all the way there. But the winners came in, North Carolina State winner there, Nebraska covered, and I also had the Georgia-Florida under in a squeaker there with that kneel down at the end, which the whole world was talking about. That really hosed everybody that had Georgia and the over. So cash with that Georgia Florida under. This week, we've got Friday night, Northwestern plus 14.5 at USC. I'm liking Northwestern there. They are on a bye week while USC is on a short week. So it's one of those odd scheduling spots. Northwestern 2-0-1, their last 3 spots as a dog. Doesn't take much for me to fade UFC in a marquee game. So we're going Northwestern. I'm also going to take Mississippi State plus 9.5, hosting Georgia. Battle of the Bulldogs. And Georgia, I think, is going to get caught looking past this one. And Mississippi State, 7-1 against the spread and off a nice win last week at Arkansas. Take Mississippi State there. And finally, Vanderbilt minus 6.5, hosting Auburn. Vandy off the loss to Texas. They get what the doctor ordered in Auburn in a get-right game here. Auburn, I think they're kind of a mess at this point, and Vandy should take advantage there. There is also, we have to cover this, there is also a game in Hawaii on Saturday night. I don't have a pick yet on it, but if I like someone there, I'll post it on the forum.
All righty. Thank you. Sammy, you good over there?
Yeah, I'm good until the sales and auction. We just sold the car, but I'll go over NFL and college real quick. I'd like to be on the side of most of you. I'm with the Texans as well over Jacksonville. And then I'm taking a couple teams that are on bounce back games. The Colts lost last week. The Lions lost last week. The Colts are allowed to lose. They're on the road. It happens. The Lions had a pretty bad home loss. They should bounce back against Washington, who's beat up. And, everyone's been taking advantage there. And I like the Colts 6.5 over the Falcons. The Ravens, they got Lamar back, and he threw up 4 touchdowns last week. So I think they bounce back. They keep that momentum going. At this point, the Ravens, because they started so poorly, they need to string together 3, 4, 5 wins to get themselves competitive. If the season ended today, the Kansas City Chiefs would be out of the playoffs. So the Ravens also, of course, a couple games behind them would also be out. So both of those teams need to string together some wins in that second half of the season. So I think the Ravens will take care of business against the Falcons. I like the Bucks over the Pats. The Pats, again, might be one of the hotter teams, but they have been playing weak opponents. The Bucks, who are still a little bit beaten up, they are coming off of a bye week, so it should have someone like Bucky Irving back, hopefully. So I like them at home at a field goal over the Patriots. And then the last 2 games of the week, Sunday night and Monday night football, both home favorites by right around a field goal, a little bit less. The Chargers minus 2.5 over the Steelers, and I'm going to take the Packers minus 2.5 over the Eagles. But again, asterisk next to all of my picks, I am 3-11 over the last 2 weeks on the picks. So, big asterisk there. But I have been doing pretty good at college. I know last week, Donnie and I both had Georgia to win, but Florida to cover. And Reload hit that. And Reload hit that one. That was a scary end of the game. He had the touchdown, but he made the smart play to wheel the ball at the 1-yard line. But to get Florida to cover that, Ohio State took care of business. Texas survived. Texas was up by 24 points in the fourth quarter. Vanderbilt came back ferociously and almost had a chance, but Texas held on by a field goal. And then how about Miami, the number 2 seed in the country? 2 weeks later, now you're ranked number 20. You went from a national title favorite to now barely have a chance to you have to win out to even make the playoffs. And even then you might not have a chance there. So Miami really lost their season in 2 short weeks. But yeah, this week you got a couple top 25 matchups and then not too much more going on. BYU and Texas Tech might be the marquee matchup, 8 versus 9. I think game day is going to be in Texas Tech this week. But if you look at the spread, Texas Tech is a double-digit favorite. So I do like BYU to cover, but I think Texas Tech at home will take care of business and win. Indiana versus Penn State. Indiana 2-touchdown favorite. Just like Ohio State last week, they took care of business. I think Indiana will take care of Penn State. Just one of the most embarrassing performance teams of the season. Texas A&M touchdown favorite at Missouri. Then you got Alabama, 10-point favorite at home to LSU. I do think LSU will keep it close, though. Alabama, they've been winning, but the last couple weeks they haven't been winning pretty. So I think they're going to win, but LSU to cover. And then lastly, I like Oregon minus 6.5 at Iowa.
All righty. Awesome, Sammy. Thank you. Donnie, last but not least, week 11 in college football. How was it for you?
Yeah, last week was pretty good. 3-1-1 overall in picks, and that one tie was ridiculous. I had the -3 on Texas. This game is over, dead, and shut. And next thing you know, it ends up a 3-point game. So I felt fortunate I got the 3 points, where a lot of people probably got the 3.5 and took a loss if you had Texas. But this week, I'm going to keep it simple in the Big Ten. Last week, I loved Indiana because Frank Cignetti just cares about beating you and blowing you out. He's going to do. What's the chance that you get to go into Penn State and Happy Valley, be favored by 2 touchdowns, and don't clean up and embarrass them? He'll love doing that. I'll lay the 14.5. And then also, the other side of the things in the Big Ten. Number 1 overall, Ohio State playing Purdue. That lines up to 29.5. They're going to throttle Purdue. Both of those teams in the Big Ten, they love running up the score, padding stats, and getting after it. Give me the 2 best teams in the country in the Big Ten. Blowout wins this weekend.
All righty. Thank you, Donnie. All righty, boys. Well, good luck on all of the NFL action this coming weekend. Good luck with all your plays, and we will see you on the forum.
See ya.
Right.